The New York Football Giants. What an interesting team. Of course, this past season, they just fired their old head coach, Pat Shurmur, and just hired the new one, and Joe Judge, New England special team coordinator type situation that he was doing there. I think he just became a wide receiver coach too, if I'm correct. But the Giants are led by Dave Gettleman at GM. Not very well appreciated sometimes in the fan base, really, kind of. He's just not the best general manager in the world. Definitely not the worst general manager either. He's kind of the middle tier, but on like that lower middle tier. And then, of course, this team's also led by Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones. Notice I did put Saquon Barkley first because that's who you're going to run through this team through, not Daniel Jones, that's for sure. Then they go on and hire Joe Judge, draft Andrew Thomas, and this is the team right now. So, let's talk about it. Joe Judge is just an interesting topic in his own sense. He seems like he can be an okay head coach. I don't know if I really want to put him in that good to great category yet, but he seems like he's going to be okay. At least decent at the least. He seems to be putting the right guys in their positions to be the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. Of course, bringing in Myles Garrett to be his offensive coordinator, the head coach that just got fired from Dallas Cowboys because he was a bad head coach, but, well, he was okay, just not really a head coach that could bring a Super Bowl to the team. So he got fired and then got moved over to being offensive coordinator, which hopefully he can do a lot better than being a head coach. Then goes on to hire Patrick Graham, a guy he kind of worked with in New England for like a 4-year time span. Then he moved on to become the Giants defensive line coordinator and then got fired from there, and then went to the Packers to be their defensive line coordinator. Then got hired by Brian Flores and the Dolphins to be, I think, their defensive coordinator or something like that. And now he's at the Giants being their defensive coordinator. So he's at a full circle, went back to the Giants in the end, and is now working with former coach, co-coach kind of, and Joe Judge, and former team in the Giants. So it kind of worked out all well for him. And Patrick Graham seems like he can be a decent defensive coordinator as well. So this team's something. Of course, any team led by Dave Gettleman is going to be something because the linebackers just aren't great on this team, especially when you sign Blake Martinez and pay him as much as they did, which he should have not been paid. He's a 2-down linebacker. And then this secondary on this team, it's okay. You have James Bradbury and the cornerback you drafted last year and DeAndre Baker. So the secondary is kind of okay with Peppers, Julian Love, DeAndre Baker, James Bradbury, and you just got to slide in a slot corner. Those usually aren't too terrible to find nowadays. This linebacking room's nothing amazing at all. I'm pretty sure they play a 3-4 too, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do there. Then this defensive line's just okay too. You have Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams. It's okay. It's nothing really something exciting to get about, but it's there. Then the offensive line's still just okay. I mean, it's going to get better, definitely with Andrew Thomas there to go with Kevin Zeitler and Will Hernandez. So you have 3 good offensive linemen, which means you have at least decent to good offensive line in the NFL usually. And moving Nate Soldier to a different position hopefully helps spark his career again. Also, you got Matt Pert, who you drafted, and Cameron Fleming could possibly move to guard position maybe. But he's good depth piece there. Then you have your wide receivers and your tight ends. You don't really have a number 1 wide receiver, just a bunch of number 2 or number 3 wide receivers. No one's like the big number 1 target type guy. I guess unless you count Evan Ingram as the big number 1 target type guy, because I really count that as my receiver 1. But he can never stay healthy, and he has no one really backing him up. That's decent. And then at running back, you have Saquon, of course, and Wayne Gallman, I guess, was decent last year. And then you have Daniel Jones. So it's just really, do you trust Joe Judge and Jason Garrett to develop Daniel Jones enough to build this team into a winning franchise? a lot of comparisons for Daniel Jones just come to Eli Manning. And to be honest, I trust Joe Judge, actually. I kind of like Joe Judge as a head coach. I just don't see Daniel Jones as a future good quarterback. I think he's probably going to have the type of career like Eli Manning probably had, where he'll be maybe really good a season or two, but just average the rest of them. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here in New York, especially with the Giants and Joe Judge. I trust Joe Judge. I trust in this coaching staff, really. It's just, I don't trust Dave Gettleman to keep building this team, especially when you have no linebackers. Your cornerback's pretty good, but okay. Your defensive line just doesn't have a main X factor defensive lineman. Your offensive line's getting there. Your wide receiver's just okay. Nothing really spectacular. You're missing a wide receiver 1. You have Saquon, which is great. Love Saquon. It's good to have one of the best running backs in the NFL. But Daniel Jones is just a working product. You drafted a quarterback in a quarterback draft class that you really shouldn't have been drafting one in, because really the best you could have gotten is just above average quarterback at your potential. But I'm just predicting Daniel Jones will be average. Dave Gettleman will somehow hold his job throughout this whole thing. And Joe Judge will be a good head coach. And I think Joe Judge is just meant to be able to build up this team. He's not really big in certain areas. He'll help with the special teams, I imagine. But he's not big with offense or defense. He hires guys who are experts in those spots so they can teach the offense and the defense and run their plays and do their own playbooks. And that's how he's going to work. So I think what he's going to do is good. I think this team will be okay coming down the stretch. If they win a Super Bowl, it's going to be like when they were in the wild card, or like they probably won't win the NFC East much. But those are my predictions for the New York Football Giants. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on Joe Judge and the New York Football Giants. Will they succeed or will they not in the future with Daniel Jones and Dave Gettleman running this team? Also, if you guys have a suggestion for another video, make sure to put that down in the comments below as well. And who knows, your suggestion may just end up being the next video. Also, make sure to click those links down there if you have Instagram, Twitter, Discord, and Patreon, and that can help you keep up with everything going on with the Sports Weave. Also, make sure to subscribe if you guys haven't subscribed yet. It really helps my channel out. And, of course, thank you guys for watching, and just make sure to keep the Sports Weave flowing throughout the day.